not here to mince words. That one was UGLY ugly. We welcome you here to Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Auto Insurance. Amy Fadul, Jim Lynam, and Mark Jackson. And that was not pretty. It was not pretty from the jump. It wasn't pretty after any quarter. It just really got away from the Sixers. The fact that they lost by 26 almost seems unrealistic, because at many points this game was a 30-point game. Inside, outside, the Clippers just absolutely dominated the Sixers, and we got to talk about, especially inside, Mark Jackson. No Joel Embiid, and Ivica Zubac really had his way.
He really did. That young fella can play. Like we first talked about it when I think the Clippers traded for him from the Lakers for 2 packs of cigarettes and a Pepsi, and he's really been outperforming his tail off, and he's getting better every year. It's good to see progression. Look at these numbers: 16 points, 12 rebounds, plus 35, and look at that. Look at that. Look at that, 8 for 10. We talk about efficiency. Yeah,
80%, obviously. There's 12 rebounds. Coach, he is the subject of our Yingling Presents Lager Up, and he had to be salivating, because anytime he's gone up against in his career, Joel Embiid, he's had a struggle, rightfully so. Everybody does. But there was no one to contest him inside.
No, he was really effective in a lot of ways. You see him rolling there to the basket. He's a blue-collar guy. You know, he sets picks. He goes in there and does the dirty work around the basket, and he really had his way tonight, and he was a huge factor in this game, setting the tone early on.
And that's the thing, setting the tone, I think. And it's interesting, Mark Jackson, because he is a traditional center more so than a guy who's going to shoot the outside shot. He kind of
parks though. He can shoot the jump shot. He can.
But on a game like this, eight of 10, I think 7 of those shots were within 6 feet. And that's how I guess you know that he knew the game plan.
And I think the most important thing, he accepts his role.
Right.
He accepts his role and say, look, we got a bunch of guards out there, a bunch of perimeter guys. They need me to pick and roll, and he's a very good passer. And make some passes and then go from there. A lot of times you look at a lot of these players, these young guys coming to the league, they want to show more. And I tell these, when I mentor these guys, I say, look, be able to do everything, but you have to master the role that team wants you to do. Don't say, I can do this, I can do this. Master that role, and then they allow you slowly but surely to do other things. It does not work the other way around, and he gets that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting, because obviously without Joel Embiid, that paint area is very unprotected, and you're getting ready to see Alperen Şengün coming up. It's a problem. It could be a problem going forward. I think Gershon Yabusele has shown that he can do that at times, but he is outsized with a guy like Zubac that comes in here. You saw that he was a plus 35. James Harden, our old friend, he was back in the house tonight, and he enjoyed his return. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Excellent job there. I think Pauline made that one. So he was a plus 30. He was actually the low man on the starting rotation for the Clippers, but this is what he does. Jim, I asked you pregame if he was going to get his shots up or his assists. Apparently you were correct when you said both, because he had 8 assists and he made 23 points.
Yeah, and I'm just looking, Amy, as you are speaking there, I guarantee he didn't play 30 minutes, probably closer to 25, maybe 27 minutes, I would say. So
yeah, 27 minutes almost on the dot.
So in 27 minutes, he had 23 points. So yes, he was aggressive. And we had said Zubac. I would say Zubac and James Harden, those two in particular, they set the tone of this game early on. The Sixers didn't have pep to their step, and as a result, they found themselves down double digits at the end of the first quarter, and they were unable to recover all night long.
Coach, that's a very kind way of you saying you didn't see pep in their step. I'm going to say it like this. This is the first time this season, even through the up and downs and the struggles, I thought they looked fractured. I thought I did not like body language. I seen guys like weren't thinking they were going to win this game. Not saying everybody, but some of the players were.
Yeah.
Not saying
hanging their head type
it was just a hanging their head, like banging on the negative things, and that everybody knows the cliche. Next play. I didn't see a lot of that. I like to see people. I've seen tonight where guys worry about the mistakes they made last possession, and that also ultimately weighs on you.
Yeah, and then it carries over, and you saw that a lot. Just getting back on defense, obviously any kind of rhythm to the offense just was non-existent in this one. All right, we're going to hear from Nick Nurse on his team's loss tonight, and we're going to check in on Jared McCain's night. First time in a while that we've seen the rookie struggle. We'll talk about how he was defended by the Clips coming up here on Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Auto Insurance. All right, let's check out our electrifying moment brought to you by Toyota. And It's Kelly Oubre who gives us plenty of electrifying moments. And this one, he picks up the loose ball. Also, shout out to the court. I'm a big fan of the Spectrum.
Yes, me too,
and
Andy.
the Spectrum, these are the city jerseys. But Kelly Oubre finishing high up there, little double pump. Always good for a couple of good dunks in this one. But I do enjoy those jerseys. Unfortunately, I would have liked it even more during a win. But that Spectrum court, Jim, does that take you back?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, a lot of great memories from the old Spectrum.
Mark, it takes you back too, I know.
I seen that from when I walked. I said, "Oh, this is cool, the Spectrum." I look around the arena. Half y'all don't even know what this is, do y'all?
Yeah, exactly. They don't know. Google it and ask your parents about it. It's good stuff. Let's check in now with Nick Nurse.
I guess what kind of led to the slow start to this one, and also slow start in the third quarter?
Yeah, listen, I think there's several things, but the biggest thing was just lack of defensive keeping the ball in front of us, really, from the defensive end. They just drove it to wherever they wanted to start the game. Really the only good period, I think we finally got it in the second quarter. We finally got some physicality in and cut off some of their drives and things like that, but we just didn't do that at all to start the game or start the half, which is certainly disappointing.
Well, what did they do to kind of neutralize Jared and Tyrese a little bit in this one?
Yeah, I mean, listen, they sent a lot of people at them. They had the lane plugged pretty good, kind of random. They were just kind of playing it 2-on-2, switching a lot, and then just kind of had a rover in the middle, almost like a spy in the middle, right? So that when they did get by their guy, there was a next line, like not only a secondary but almost a third line of defense there. And obviously I thought we started the game with some great shots, and obviously didn't hit any of them, right? We actually made pretty good plays offensively, kind of all the way through. I mean, it was tough. I mean, they were scoring every time, so it was, again, playing against half court, but we did generate a bunch of wide open threes in the first quarter. But again, like, you scored 27 in the first, you ought to be feeling okay, right? But you can't, give up 39. It's like, again, we just weren't keeping the ball in front of us at all defensively.
Caleb only played the first minute and change of the second half. Was that about giving him a breather or something going on? What was the situation there?
Well, he had the little hard fall the other night. Back was a little sore, right? Wasn't sore enough to keep him out. There's nothing, again, in the pictures to show that there's anything seriously wrong. Just playing through a lot of pain, and just obviously was struggling as well on top of it. So just tried to not go too far with it.
You guys are 1-2 since the meeting last Monday, last week. Mm-hmm. I guess, how do you feel like your team responded to what was said?
Well, I think I'm certainly, there's nothing you can say about tonight other than it's just really disappointing, right? Again, I think I was fairly hopeful because this group had even was kind of this group when we played Cleveland. Played okay, moved the ball, guarded hard, played tough. Same group the other night against Brooklyn, right? Pretty hard-fought game, moved the ball, played tough, right? And they just didn't have one more in them, right? Tonight was not, the energy was the physicality and the energy was off, man, right? Picked a tough night to kind of have everybody kind of go a little bit energy draining, right? So gotta get them back and get to work and get focused and re-energize and recovery tomorrow and get these guys ready to go, because that group, we've seen them play some okay basketball, so we got to do that.
Well, you just mentioned the two days off now between tonight and a matchup with a very good Rockets team on Wednesday. How do you kind of get them back on track and focus and prepare for this match?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. I think we got to, again, check where we are health-wise, first of all, all the way across the board. And then see who's going to be available for Wednesday, and then get that group ready to keep it simple, execute some stuff, and and get the game plan ready and just do like normal. But once we figure out who's ready to go, we start getting something together. Yes, sir.
Do you sense at all that some of the offensive dry spells that you guys have, do you think that affects the defensive intensity?
Yeah. I mean, it's been affecting us all year that way. Again, I don't know what we shot from 3 tonight, but been very good, 23%. Right. I mean, it's hard. I think, again, like just at the start of the game, when you see that you're actually doing some good things and some of your better players are getting those looks and they just continually don't go in, I think it does affect your defense in a couple ways. One, you're playing off a long rebound, right, and then you're kind of playing a little bit, you're playing a little bit off of some disappointment that you kind of did all that work to get a great shot and it doesn't go in again. So. But hopefully those will start going in.
Nick, at 3 and 13, even though with the way the East standings are, you're theoretically not that far out. How do you avoid this spiraling where the missed shots turn into weeks of just like never feels like it's going in, and like having these back-breaking stretches where it can just.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we got to continue to evaluate: are the shots as good as they feel? If they're not, we got to figure out how to make them a little bit better. Is the rhythm where it needs to be, right? Continue to fight. Continue to, try to. We got, again, like I'd have told you the last 2 games I was pretty happy with the defense, right? The only things I was really worried about was some transition opportunities, because when we got our defense set up, we were executing schemes. We were creating 20 turnovers a night. The offense off the defense was getting better. We were starting to finally capitalize on that. So just staying with all that stuff.